everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to do the telephone book cover tag. So I was tagged by the wonderful Celestria, and you guys, if you haven't checked her out, you totally should. She makes me want to be like younger again because she is just so cool and fun to watch, and our reading styles are pretty different, and yet I still watch every single video she puts out because she just is so cool. I love her. So the premise of this tag, if you have not seen it, is you take the last book that the person who tagged you in, just like telephone. So you take their last book and you try to match the covers of books through to make telephone. So like what you start with and what you end with is totally different. That makes no sense. So let's just get into it. So the book she ended with is this book right here. I'll put up a picture because I don't have a copy. It's called Tyra, and it's dark blue, and it's got like a wolf silhouette in black. And so I was thinking, what do I have that could go off that? And I found this. So, and I have to tell you too, I put stipulations on myself because I wanted to make this also like a little bit of a recommendation video. And so I only chose from these bookshelves back here, which are books that I have read. And I only keep books that I've given like a strong 3 stars or above to. So for the most part, I like all of these books. I'm not picking any middle grade, any Christmas, any nonfiction, simply just adult or YA, I think, but adult books that I have read and liked. So let's get into it. So I picked Breathless. So I'll try to scooch over so I can put them side by side. But Breathless is also dark blue. It's got a woman's silhouette. It's not a wolf, but it's a woman's silhouette, and it's kind of black. And I thought these covers just went really well together. So that's this. And I just recently read this. This is actually like my least favorite, I think, of the stack that I'm going to be talking about today. But this is about a woman who she is a journalist, and she is trying to go to the top. I can't crest a mountain. No, that's not the word. You guys are probably, especially after reading this, like it has so much mountain jargon and climbing jargon. I can't think of the word though. But she's trying to get to the top of the mountain because this infamous climber, he has to get to the peak of all these different mountains. This is the last one, and if he does it and she does it with him, he will give her like an exclusive interview. Well, she has failed before at climbing mountains, and so she's really nervous. This is also a really hard situation, and then people start dying. And is it natural causes, or is there a murder on the mountain? We don't know. So that is this book. So I'm taking this book and connecting it to this book. So Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. So they're both this dark blue, kind of eerie. This one has snow falling. This one has bubbles. So that's kind of how I connected these. So Ugly Love is one of Colleen Hoover's arguably most like well-known, well-read books. This one is a domestic, this is a romance. It's Tate Collins and Miles Archer. They meet, and there is more to the story. I really don't want to say a whole lot about this, but definitely trigger warning for like domestic abuse and that kind of stuff. But it is really, 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 really good. So then I took this, and I kind of took the blue bubble theme, and I've got this, Good Luck with That by Kristen Higgins. So totally different tone, but they're both blue and have these bubbles. And so this one I loved. Kristen Higgins is a women's fiction romance author that like her books really toe the line. Some are clearly more romance, some are more women's fiction. This is definitely one of her women's fiction books, which I prefer personally. But this one is about, I think, 3 women who meet as young people, kids, teens, I can't remember exactly how old they are, but at like a fat camp. And then it's what happens to these 3 women throughout life. And this was so heartbreaking, but entertaining, but there's just so many words. I gave this 4.5 stars, and I really love this book. This is probably one of my favorite Kristen Higgins. So then I'm taking this blue and purple theme. And like I said, you guys, I kind of wanted to, nitpicked through my shelves on some of my favorite books. So I am going to pair it with Eleanor Gray by Brittany C. Cherry. So this has really just got the same kind of color scheme, the blues and the purples. And when I saw this, I instantly thought of, there's another one by Colleen Hoover that I thought of, but I chose this one. So Eleanor Gray. This is, I think, my first and still one of my favorites. I don't know if it's necessarily my all-time favorite, but definitely one of my favorite Brittany C. Cherry books. So This is about childhood, childhood, first love, second chance, kind of. It's kind of that trope. But they run back into each other. She's a nanny and he's a widower, and he's got 2 young girls, and she nannies for his kids, and he has changed so much. He's now this like dark, broody, kind of angry guy. And we don't really know why until as the story unfolds. And it's her loving his kids and figuring out kind of how to like respectfully break down his walls and figure out like what happened to the boy I used to know. And it's just so good, you guys. So, so good. So then I took this and I see the purple and blue, and I see somebody looking directly at the camera. So I decided to go with, I'm getting confused here, this. So Learning to Fly by Roxanne Hancock. So again, it's got the purple colors. It's got somebody looking directly at the camera. So that's how I connected these. So Learning to Fly. This is another one I really like. This is a story of motherhood, basically. It's 2 women. They run into each other at the grocery store with their like 1-year-olds, which hashtag relatable. Things are just kind of going amok, and they kind of relate to each other through their lives. Now, the one that we are, like the main character, I can't remember her name, Susan? Susan. She is like just kind of feeling like burnt out on motherhood and kind of like she doesn't feel like she's thriving, not in motherhood necessarily, but just like she feels like she's mediocre. And she runs into JoJo, her old friend, and her daughter have like matching outfits. They look super perfect. Everything's great and grand. And so they start a friendship back up. And this really has a lot of conversations about parenting and kind of our role as parents, and like how we need to, like the fine line between being your kid's friend and being their parent. And I definitely thought this got a little preachy at times, but I was really entertained by both. Their young daughters grow up, and this is until they're like teens. And so I really enjoyed this book. So we've got a kid looking at the cover, and a kid looking at the camera, and now here we've got another kid looking at the camera. And my husband, so you guys, when I tell you that I was trying to lay out these books and I was struggling, it was a full family effort, because my husband was in here, my girls were in here, we were all trying to find it, and Jeremy's like, that's creepy. And so yeah, 2 young girls looking at the cover. So this One Breath Away by Heather Guggenkoff. Heather Guggenkoff is one of my favorite thriller authors, I guess. They're more like domestic dramas than thrillers, kind of. But this one is about a woman. Well, it's about this girl. She calls her mom. She's 13, I think. And her mom has been badly burned. So she's in the hospital in the burn unit. And she gets a call from her 13-year-old daughter. And there's an active shooter in her school. And so this one is like super short chapters, and it alternates perspectives between quite a few different people involved. And it was so good. Like, I read this one so fast, and I can't even remember how many chapters there are, but there's like well over 100 chapters, I think, because it just is kind of like, it almost reminds me of like a John Mars book, where it's like you just have to keep reading and have to keep getting these different perspectives to find out like what's going on and how are they going to get it out of this situation. And like from the mother's perspective, like, you're in the hospital, you can't go do anything. Like, what do you do? It stressed me out, but so good. So then I took this. She's standing in the snow, looking at the camera, etc. And I am going to do this. So this is another person standing in the snow. She's blowing snow. This one's definitely a little happier cover, but this one is one of my all-time favorite books. So Alison Wynne Scotch, she is also a very favorite author of mine, and I feel like one that's really underhyped. And this book is about like another one of my favorite tropes, the road not taken. So this woman, she has, I think, an 18-month-old, I don't know. She's got like this picture perfect suburban life. She's got this husband. She's got this little girl, I think. Just this picture perfect suburban life, but she's just like bored and unfulfilled and not loving life. And so she gets to get a glimpse of the past, and she runs into like her first love and what would have happened if she would have stayed with her first love. And now, of course, she would not have had her daughter. And she would have had a much different life. And so which life would you choose? And she definitely like goes through the experience of both. And questions like, am I looking back with rose-colored glasses, or did I make a wrong decision at some point? And I just love that trope. I think I gave this 4.5 stars, so it's not like an all-time favorite, but I really enjoyed it. So we've got this snowy theme going on, and then I'm going to say the mountain between us. It's kind of hard to see the snowflakes on camera, but again, snowy, snowy, there you go. So this one is by Charles Martin, and this one is like, it was made into a movie, and I have watched part of the movie, but the book is definitely like so good. So this is about this, both of these people are trying to get somewhere, and it's really snowy, so like commercial airlines have all shut down. They get this private plane to take them wherever they need to go, and the pilot, I think, has a heart attack or something. And so they crash on top of a mountain, and they have to learn to survive. And it's just so atmospheric and so good, so good. So really love this one. And then I'm connecting it to this one, which is Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Center. So I'm connecting it because they're both people on mountains. You can kind of see the mountains in the background here, and then here's, she's clearly on top of a mountain. So there you goes that. And so this one is about this woman who decides, like, I think she gets broken up with or something. Her relationship ends, and she decides to go on this mountain hike, expedition type thing. Words are really hard for me today, but she does it really just to prove to herself that, like, you can do hard things. And it's kind of an enemies to lovers story because her brother's best friend, who they have always had like a tumultuous, not really friendly relationship, he's there too. And so there's that, but like this is definitely a women's fiction about her discovering herself and like discovering her power and her worth. And I really love this book. So then the last one, this is 10 books, and this was a struggle, you guys, but we made it. I'm saying Most Wanted by Lisa Scottolini. So this is, I'm relating it because it's women kind of looking out, gazing out into the future by themselves, kind of. I mean, there's people in the background of this one, but these just reminded me of each other. And really, I wanted to talk about this one because this is one actually that I'm currently reading, but I don't think you'll see this until after I've already read it. But this one is interesting. So this is about a couple who struggles with infertility. And it is it's male factor infertility. He is the one that struggles with sperm count and that kind of stuff. So they decide to have a baby through a sperm donor. So she's now like 9 or 10 weeks pregnant, just at the beginning of pregnancy. And she sees something on the news that is like what she thinks is their donor. He has just been arrested for being a serial killer. So then her and her husband have very different perspectives on what do we do now knowing that we are potentially about to raise a serial killer's kid, biologically at least. So this one is really, really interesting. I'm about halfway through it, I think, right now, and I'm loving it, and it's really interesting. So this is where I'm ending. Hopefully this is good for whoever goes next. So this tag has been going around for a while, and a lot of people have been tagged in it. So I'm going to tag some people. If you've already done it, just ignore it, or if you don't want to do it, that's fine too. But I'm going to tag Krista from Books and Jams. I feel like she's been tagged, but maybe not. Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly. And then I just finished the summertime bingo vlog and that kind of stuff from Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, and Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library. So I'm going to tag them and just leave it there. So I'm sure some of them have been tagged or have done it or whatever, but those are the people I tagged. So they will start with this book and then try to take it on to 10 other books. So that is the telephone book cover tag. Celestia, thank you so much for tagging me. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, night, whenever you're watching this. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you for watching.